This is podcasting under the influence. 30 something. 37, I think. I guess 37. I can't keep track. I'll find out when I post it. Exactly what it is. If you never watched this before, we talk about football, our favorite shows, nerd stuff, pretty much it. And we do a top 10 at the end, and we haven't decided on that yet. Decided that right now. Top 10 anime movies. Or anime franchises.
Well, last time you said franchises, and I'm like, well, that limits you because then it has to be like Toy Story because there's more than one. Shrek because there's more than one.
Panda.
So anything pretty much Pixar did. And
Pixar.
DreamWorks.
Okay, I was gonna say Pixar didn't do Shrek or Panda, but so yeah, we'll do franchises. We'll do that in between videos.
We'll figure that out.
Okay. So we shall talk about the NFL. It is Super Bowl week. We missed last week because I was sick.
And I didn't want my baby infected. Or he didn't want to infect my baby. Either or.
Yeah. I could never live with that on my conscience. So the first game was Patriots versus the Broncos.
Well, according to Schweitzer, who rubbed it into me, we both pretty much decided that the Patriots were more than likely going to win that game. However, I really wanted the Broncos to win that game.
Can we just be honest that the only reason the Broncos won is because Patriots' offensive line is shitty?
Because Von Miller decided he wanted Tom Brady's head on a stick.
I think it's Von Miller.
Either or.
I just think that Tom Brady has had 3 undrafted rookies on the offensive line like all year, and it's been shuffled around due to injuries.
If you look back at every game Tom Brady's ever lost, it's because they've got to him and they have rattled him.
I don't think it's because they quote rattled him. It's just they got to him, and either it doesn't give time to develop. Like when you play a zone, you need extra time. A lot of guys zone up. You need extra time for the routes to develop.
Well,
if you can get to Tom Brady in like 1.5 seconds, I mean,
I was just glad
they were blowing him off the ball.
Well, I was glad to see, especially in a playoff game, that moving the extra point made a difference.
Well, it made a difference in the rest of the game for a while too.
It made a huge difference in this game because minus that, they would have kicked an extra point and been tied.
I still have an issue with the extra point.
Well, I don't care. Move it back. The percentage of teams that did go for 2 over the extra point this year had gone up like 20, no, it was higher than that, 30-some%, I think.
My whole point with the extra point is you're taking a lot. Like, okay, I think we talked about this before with like an onside kick. You said they should have to announce that they're doing the onside kick to do an onside kick.
You should be able to tell by the formation, quite honestly. But I've seen them where they pulled the trickeration before.
Yeah, that's part of the game, though. You got to be prepared for anything. And I think whenever you decide that let's not have the 2-point conversion, or the 1-point conversion and the 2-point conversion the same, you're taking that element of surprise where they could fake the field goal and have like a tight end go out the flat and catch it for a 2-point conversion. You're taking that trickery out. Look at the movie Unnecessary Roughness.
Yeah.
They won because of the 2-point conversion because they faked the
kick.
Faked the point after, and they ended up winning against the best team in Texas or the country. I don't remember which one it was, but that's part of the game. You have to be prepared for that. So
I think they're slowly moving to actually make kicking difficult. I mean, everybody knows in open weather when it's shitty out, kicking is probably one of the most impossible things to do next to launching a ball downfield. I like it. I like the fact that it came down to it. I thought that made it a little more interesting because last year we were like, oh shit, well they'll make it up in the next couple. You know what I mean? It just would have been, you would have missed it to begin with. I mean, how many PATs were missed last season compared to this season? That's a percentage I'd like to see, but I'm sure there's probably, it went from like 2% to closer to 25-30%.
I'm just saying that I don't like it that you're taking that surprise element out. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, I could care less. But you're taking that surprise element where you're announcing what it is, so the other team has a chance to put the right defense on the field that can defend the 2-point conversion.
Well, if they're going to do that, then move the 2-point conversion back as well.
No.
Make it come from the same
Make
line.
it one play from 35 yards. It's going to be a pass. You know exactly what it is. Just defend the end zone. So it's going to be a jump ball.
Well, then the element of surprise is still there. Could go either way.
No, I disagree. There's no element of surprise. It'd be very asinine to go for 2 from there when you just statistically just be easier for you to go for the 1 and then hope the outside kick to get a field goal if you need to win the game. It would just be statistically easier to do that than it is to get 1 30-yard pass when a defense is going to defend the end zone. It's not like you can get a first down and then play it again. You know, so I don't know. Did you watch the game?
That was the only one that was interesting and worth watching.
I still say they would have won if it were. First off, they would have won if it was in Foxborough. Because Tom Brady couldn't use hard counts. He couldn't use. It was a set count, and they could just.
He should have had a better record in the regular season.
Well, I was going to get to that. You have injuries. You have Bill Belichick deciding to kick it off in overtime against the Jets. That cost them a game. There's a bunch of things that they did throughout the course of the season that cost them that. Because all they had to do was beat the Jets, or they had to beat Miami, and they would have had number 1 seed.
Hey, that's fine. I didn't care. Didn't hurt my feelings. But
I know you hate Tom Brady.
I was glad to see them lose, especially after all the mouth run they did. Do you see where that asshole already went and got a Patriots Super Bowl 50 tattoo?
No.
Yeah. Some asshole already had oh, we're going to do it. There's no way we're going to lose against him. Went and got the tattoo. So now he's stuck with a tattoo that says Patriots Super Bowl 50 champions.
Sucks to be him.
Sucks to be him.
It
was a good game. I actually did enjoy watching it. For the most part,
enjoy watching it.
Well, of course not. You're a Patriots fan.
I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'm a fan of the players on that team. I'm not a Patriots fan.
Everyone had their moment to shine, but at the end of the day, the Broncos D or lack of Patriots offensive line, either or, however you want to look at it, they went and they went after him.
The only reason the Patriots lost because their offensive line. I'm going to put that out there.
That's fine.
Well, that and it's kind of hard to. It really puts a lot on Tom Brady when you have no semblance of a running game. They had no running game whatsoever.
That's all right.
They've had that They had it last year in the Super Bowl whenever they beat the Seahawks. They ran the ball for I think it was 14 times, 30 yards or something like that. And they just said, piss on it. We're just going to give Tom Brady the ball every time. The week before that, when they played Kansas City, he threw the ball I can't remember how much. It was a lot. They barely ran the ball. Just horrible offensive line. And they fired the next day. They fired their offensive line coach, which I don't really think it's his fault.
No, you can only put so many pieces into the puzzle, especially when you're giving them pieces that don't fit to begin with.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, the players did the best. I think the coach did the best they could with what he was given to work with.
Well,
they didn't really go out and get a good offensive lineman. I mean, you have 3 undrafted rookies. I mean, you give that to anyone else, that team's like we're getting one of the first or second overall picks.
There's a lot of people on that staff and a lot of fans, Patriot fans, that will just flat out say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Tom Brady will win. Doesn't matter. Tom Brady."
And Tom Brady almost. To be fair, Tom Brady almost won. And the only reason they were in that game was because of him. It's the only reason they were even close to that game.
I'm not. I have never denounced how good he is. I just don't like it.
Okay. Bronco. Peyton Manning looked good the first couple drives, and I don't think he looked good after that personally.
Yeah, well.
I do think that I wish if Kansas City would beat the Patriots, I think they would have beat the Broncos. That would have been a better game to watch, in my opinion.
Well, that was a better game to watch than the other one.
Oh yeah, the other one.
That was a rout.
Panthers pecker slapped the old Cardinals.
Yeah, they.
I'm disappointed.
The Panthers flat out took Carson Palmer out the game.
Carson Palmer. Every time his defense, they would make a big play, to get him the ball back and get some momentum. The light was just too bright for him. Sorry.
2 touchdowns. That's it. And the 2-point conversion.
It was too bright. It was too bright for him. It was 7 to 24 at the half.
Is that something to do with him being a former Bengals quarterback?
I just think it's him being a former USC quarterback. There's no USC quarterback ever really thrives.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He never showed up well in the playoffs when he played for when he played for the Bengals, he never really showed up really well, which I don't know. I still think Marvin Lewis would lose this fucking job, but besides that, I think Panthers just showed up. If you take care of the ball against the Panthers, you have a chance because they turn turnovers into touchdowns quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah,
it can turn into a rout and demoralizing whatever you want to call it very fast, and they do that. They turn a turnover into a touchdown faster than anyone in the league.
Well, what I think is cute is everyone was complaining about Chip Kelly's style of offense. Ron Rivera was about 5 degrees away from Chip Kelly's style of offense.
I disagree with that completely. When you have a quarterback that's 6'6", 250, like you have all you need, it's the best goal line option you can ever have. Because usually, if you're in goal line, you have a quarterback, and he's handing off to a running back. So there's two guys out of the equation to block. It's like the ultimate wildcat formation. You know, you have the ultimate wildcat formation where you have 10 guys blocking now instead of 9, and you have a bulldozer that can just, if he gets one-on-one with someone, he's going to run most people over except for any defensive lineman. And that defense, my God, that defense.
The defense was good.
Well, I mean, you just got to take care of the ball. If Broncos take care of the ball, they'll make it interesting. It's not that the Panthers' offense is so good, which it is pretty good, but it's the defense gets them a turnover in the best possible place, and then you just take advantage of it. If you watch them, they don't just like march down the field, bam, 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 all the time. They'll just get that one turnover, and then they'll just take that turnover and run with it.
Weren't they number 1 in third down conversions this year?
Were they? I didn't know they were.
I was asking a question. I thought they were.
I didn't know they were.
Okay.
Honestly.
Because the Broncos are number 1 at stopping people on third down.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that sounds right to me. Which basically this Super Bowl is about the two best defenses colliding.
Well, yeah, number 1 versus number 2.
Yeah.
So who you got?
Can I honestly say, I'm going to say this. I do not care who wins. I really don't.
Well, we thought about that a lot of games this year, but we still had to pick.
I'm going to pick. Just let me throw out my soliloquy here.
Soliloquy.
So, whatever. I heard this all last week, and I'm going to hear it some more when I listen to the first take today on the way home. I'm tired of people complaining, I just want Peyton Manning to get one more before he goes out. Bullshit.
Well, that's what you're complaining about.
No, listen. He's had 17 years to do it, and because he squandered other chances, the Panthers shouldn't have to take one in the chin just so he can get another Super Bowl, so everyone can be happy about it. This isn't like Jerome Bettis syndrome, when the NFL pretty much handed him a Super Bowl ring.
If it's all rigged, why are we even talking about it?
I don't want to say it was rigged, but even the NFL had to admit that Super Bowl against the Seahawks was horribly officiated. It was a horribly officiated game.
That trickled into the following season, but that's
it did. But to be fair, that the NFL, that game was horribly officiated. It was talked about for the next year, so there was a lot of controversy about it. But I don't think that the Panthers, as well as they played this year, everyone should just be rooting against them just because they want Peyton Manning to get another one. I don't like that. He's had 17 years, and because he has I'll give an example here. Tom Brady makes $8 million a year. You know how much Peyton Manning makes? 16 million?
12. No, he took a hit this year. He took a hit this year. He got knocked down to 12 because he wanted to open up salary cap space so they could get better free agents.
Yeah, but for the last 10 years, he's got almost 20. He's gotten almost 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's getting paid 20. You could put that into making your defense better, to getting a better offensive line, to getting a better running game, and he's been doing that for about 14 years. Ever since his third season when he renewed up and got 18 to 20 million a year, he's been taking that much at the detriment of the rest of the team not being as good. If he'd have taken less money, because he has a lot of endorsements, so he doesn't need more money from football.
He makes the only person that makes he makes more money off endorsements than anyone else in the NFL.
Yeah.
Guess who number 2 is?
Number 2, if I had to guess,
off the top of your head,
Aaron Rodgers.
No. Cam Newton.
What does he endorse? The only thing I've ever seen him in is yoga commercials.
Nope. He apparently endorses a ton of shit. The difference between what Peyton Manning makes in a year and what Cam Newton makes in a year off endorsements is like 0.4 million.
Okay, can we reword this? Over the course of the last 10 years, who's probably made more? Who?
Well, no. I'm not arguing your point. You're correct. He's made more money off
Okay,
endorsements
so
than just
my
about
point
anyone.
is,
I was just voicing a question because it was a neat little fact that I picked up this week.
My point is if he really was all about winning, he could have taken less money. He could have got better defenders. His defense could have been good when they played better when they played the Seahawks. His offensive line could have been better. Whenever he played the Saints in the Super Bowl, he could have got a better defense. He could have buffered the defense a lot better, so they could have beat the Saints. He could have. There's a lot of years where their team was a Super Bowl caliber team, like when they lost to Pittsburgh that one year. That is my point. And the Panthers, as great as they were this year, should not have to take one in the chin. So everyone could be like, "Oh, let Peyton Manning get one more."
What you called 3 years ago. It had, to me, watching that game, all the pieces were there, but that was the problem. The pieces weren't operating as a unit. They were operating. Everyone was trying to get their moment.
They did not have defense that year.
Well, their defense that didn't even matter to me. What I saw out of that offense was everyone was trying to be that one guy that made that one big play, and no one was trying to just win the damn game.
The reason why they lost that game is it didn't have a running game. According to, who is it? Not Champ Bailey. There was someone that year they were talking about like they knew the plays. They knew that every time they were so predictable offensively that like every formation they knew like the possibility of plays, and they were just in the perfect defensive position every time. So you can probably blame John Fox and the coaching staff for that. The fact that you're not that versatile or you're not that.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and wax poetically about shit that happened 20 years ago or 3 years ago.
I'm saying I saw on the field. He's had 17 years to get more than one Super Bowl.
Okay.
And he's failed to do it.
So you're picking Carolina.
Time out. I will say this. I am picking Carolina. I would be more inclined to pick them more emphatically if they were still undefeated. I would love to see that happen. A team that's not the Patriots. And you know what's going to be funny?
This is my whole problem with that. If it was the Patriots in right now, I would be a Carolina fan. I would go buy a jersey. Go ahead.
I want Carolina to win. I wish they were undefeated right now. It'd make this a lot more intriguing. That's pretty much it. I think it'd have been a much more intriguing matchup to see the Patriots versus Carolina.
Possibly.
But for some reason, I have a feeling Carolina's going to come in and just pecker slap the Broncos.
What I hope the NFL does is because that game didn't materialize, I hope that they match up those two divisions next year to play each other. I would like to see that because win or lose, Carolina's going to have a dynamite team again next year. They should have a pretty good team. I don't think they're going to get too beat up by free agency.
Kelvin Benjamin coming back from injury. They could probably they're going to have people in free agency like, I want to be a part of that.
Well, defensive guys in the draft this year. Wow, it's not going to be a bad year to draft a defense.
Well, how many of their guys are in their contract years? You got to factor that in because some guys play harder in contract years. This could be a contract year for Josh Norman.
Yeah.
Luke Kuechly's been signed for a while, so I don't have to worry about him. But that's the big factor is what
Cam Newton's not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah,
wouldn't even matter if his contract year. He's going to be Carolina until he dies.
He's going to be the first player to ever win the Heisman and a national title in the same year, and the MVP in the Super Bowl in the same year. He hasn't won it yet, but
I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
You think Broncos are going to win?
I'm pulling for the Broncos. I thought Arizona. This is going to come down to defense.
I thought Arizona's offense was way better than the Broncos all year long. Way better.
So did I, but Arizona's defense wasn't exactly.
I'm not confident. I'm not confident in Peyton Manning right
now. I'm just saying
he didn't look bad. I'm not saying he looked horrible, but he did not look good either.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if you think the score of this game is going to be 49-20, you are sadly mistaken.
If the Patriots are able to hold Peyton Manning to 20, what are the Panthers going to do? Let's just throw that out there. He may not cross the 50-yard line against the Panthers.
I don't think so.
I don't.
Cam Newton might not pass the 50-yard line against the Broncos.
Who are you picking?
I'm picking the Broncos.
Bullshit. Cam Newton alone will just run the ball every time and get across the 50-yard line. I'm sorry, they're just more balanced in my opinion. So for some reason, they don't have great weapons all over the place, but they have Ted Ginn Jr. He can bust one deep. You have Greg Olson's the ultimate chain mover. And you said they're the best third down conversion team, so something's going to give. Either Broncos defense is going to not be able to get to Cam Newton, and Cam Newton's going to pick them apart, because that's basically been the where they hang their hat on is getting the quarterback.
Or we're going to see a completely different Peyton Manning than we've seen all season, and he's just going to play lights out football because he knows it's his life.
I guess you're taking Broncos.
Yeah, I said that like 3 times. I'm taking the Broncos.
I'm not. I honestly don't care who wins. It would be. I don't dislike Peyton Manning. It wouldn't be bad to see him get one more and see him right off into the sunset.
Yeah,
But yeah. I'm not with everyone that says, "Oh, it's his last one. Let him have one." No, I don't like.
No, don't let him have one. Play the damn game. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying he squandered other opportunities. That's all I'm saying. That's
I don't personally hate Carolina, but I will say, over the past week and a half, I am so sick and fucking tired of this stupid ass rant about no respect because he's a black quarterback. No respect because he's a black quarterback. This because he's black. This because he's black. That because he's black. Da 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 on down the line. I don't give a shit. He's a fucking quarterback in the NFL. I could give a shit if he's purple.
Is that his fault? If people are saying that?
I don't care. I'm just tired of hearing about it.
I am too.
But if he wins, then that's what I got to hear about.
If he wins, you want to hear something funny?
That's all I want to hear about is black quarterback won the Super Bowl. No one thought a black guy could do it.
Well, 2 other black guys have already done it.
Yes, I know. But...
And already done it against the Broncos. That's what's ironic. Doug Williams beat the Broncos. He scored 28 points in the second quarter. And then Russell Wilson did it 3 years ago.
So Russell Wilson really black?
He's black.
I don't think he's really black.
Both of his parents are black. He's black.
I don't think he's really black. He's mulatto, but he's not black.
He's black.
Like, I'm telling you right now, if Russell Wilson would walk down the street in downtown Baltimore dressed as a thug, they'd pull his hood down and they think he's white and they would try to take all his money.
Well, now you're getting into a deeper racist you were. How black are you?
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. No, I'm just tired of hearing about it because, quite honestly, when I look at a player in the NFL, I can care less what your race is. You're just a player in the NFL. That's it. That's all you are to me.
I'm the same way. But
like with our draft team. When we do our fantasy draft, you're just a name and a number on a roster, son. Score some points and I'll be happy for you. Don't do your job and I'll be sad at
you. They were talking about this on First Take, and I agree with Skip Bayless on this. I don't understand where the rest of it's coming from, unless there's something I'm missing. Granted, I don't have TV, so I don't get to watch ESPN 24/7.
Sorry.
I know, it's fine. But basically, like, they're saying, like, it's gonna be like it's all this hoopla about him being black, and there's an issue. I've never heard anyone who's white that we know in this county. Maybe you know of someone who has an issue with the fact that he's a black quarterback and he's winning and being successful. I've never heard anyone.
I could care less what color he is. I'm getting tired of hearing about what color he is because I try not to see
imagine
the world
how he
that
feels if he's getting asked that every 5 minutes with a
Well,
camera.
he shot himself in the foot to spite his face earlier last week when he made the mention of being a black quarterback.
It's probably just people bring it up. People give him shit.
He shouldn't have honestly said, well, they just don't know what to do with a black quarterback. Wrong choice.
No, they just don't know what to compare him to. That's the issue. Is they don't know what to compare him to.
Well, compare his arm, compare his legs. Don't compare black Cam Newton versus white Cam Newton, because I'm waiting for that to come up. That someone's going to be like, well, if he was white, he would do. It's annoying to me.
To be fair, him being black does get him some. He doesn't get the benefit of the doubt on things. For example, I'll give an example that someone gave on Around the Horn. Tom Brady had a baby out of wedlock. He wasn't married to the woman. I guess he was his girlfriend. She broke up, and he has a son. I think it's a son with this woman. He's not married to her. That's not an issue. But there was something in the Charleston Gazette, maybe, or Charleston Observer, or one of the papers out of Charleston, because Cam Newton has a child with a woman he's not married to. It's a huge deal, and we don't need that kind of cynicism from our star quarterback.
Well, that's the media's fault because...
Yeah, I agree with you.
Quite honestly, I didn't even hear about it.
I don't hear about it either. I know Tom Brady had a baby out of wedlock.
I didn't even know about that. I could care less what you do
with his last girlfriend before Giselle.
What you do 5 to 9, unless you're Johnny Manziel, doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter to me either. But
no, I'm just saying, like 9 to 5, you're on the clock.
I'm just saying. I mean, that is a good. You agree that that's unfortunately how the world is. That because he's black, like that's wrong. But that the fact that Tom Brady had that, it wasn't a big deal.
But I can blame that completely on the media. Because I really honestly think, and we go political, we do every week now for whatever reason. After we swore we weren't going to, we swore we weren't going.
That's kind of good.
We swore through the first 5 podcasts that we were not going to discuss political bullshit on this, and I think we got through 3.
When we talk about politics, I'm talking. What I meant specifically, like these are actual like race issues more than politics.
We discuss race issues a lot on here.
Yeah, but like politics is like, who you voting for, Trump or Obama or whatever. So
I think
don't bring that up. Don't bring that up.
Your best bet would be to move to Canada, but that's
Canada.
Canada.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
The media is blowing race completely out of proportion over the last 5 years. Completely out of proportion.
They have to have some. It's because the media is run by liberal idiots who have to have something to bitch about. They have to point fingers at one thing and have people get sympathy for this or feel bad about this. They're not going to be happy until every white person is upset and gives up all their money to people that they've apparently oppressed. That's what the media wants.
That just drives me nuts because it's the media perpetrating it. Granted, Cam Newton did himself a disservice last week by making the mention that they just don't know how to handle a black quarterback. And that's fine. I knew what he meant, which he meant himself, but he could have worded it a different way. So he's not the most well-spoken individual, but then again, I wouldn't expect him to be.
No, he's pretty well-spoken. I'll say
he could be better well-spoken.
He's pretty well compared to some other quarterbacks in general, not just black quarterbacks.
I was about to say, don't compare him to Pac-Man Jones or Chad Oakes.
Well, how about you remember Jameis Winston? A post-game interview a couple years ago? Wow.
Yeah, when he was at FSU, he was terrible. He's got a lot better now. I think he actually went back and took some classes in communication because he doesn't sound as stupid now as he did then.
Well, we haven't, to be honest, we haven't really heard an interview with him since then.
Yeah, true.
Much interviews. He had some after he got drafted, but anyway.
No, I just get annoyed with the media constantly blowing race out of proportion because I don't think as many people would be upset about it if it wasn't constantly regurgitated into their face.
Like Skip Bayless is like, I don't know where all this hate is coming from him being a black. Everyone, I love him. I love the guy. I think he's played great.
I like watching him play. Unfortunately for him, he's actually playing someone that I like a little bit better than him, so I'm not cheering for him this time.
That's why I said I don't care either way. I respect the greatness that is Peyton Manning, but I respect what Cam Newton has been doing this year. So that's what it comes down to.
I mean, if the Broncos lose, I'm not going to sit here and cry in my cereal. It is what it is. You know, it was a game they lost.
If the Panthers are undefeated, where would you be picking right
now? I would actually be pulling. I'd probably pull to see a team like Carolina do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's not the same rigmarole. You're not getting the same 4 teams that are always there. You're not getting the Seahawks. And God bless the Packers if they'd have done it, I'd been cheering for them. Or the Steelers, or the Patriots. You know, on down the line. You got these same group of teams that seem to regurgitate through the Super Bowl every 2 to 3 years.
Broncos.
Well, yeah.
I think this is their 8th Super Bowl appearance. They're tied for the most.
But Carolina, when was their last appearance? 2001?
Whenever they lost to the Patriots. I don't know what year that was. I want to say 2003 or 4.
I don't know. But, I mean, they're not there all the time. So for them to get infinite greatness and go down as history as the team, oh, hell yeah, I'd definitely be pulling for them. Granted, I'd be sitting in the back kind of going, Peyton Manning, that'd be awesome too. But I'd definitely be pulling for them to do it because, quite honestly, no one had Carolina at the top of their boards at the beginning of the season. No one had them at the very top of their board. Maybe some...
I think we both had them winning the division. But other than that,
yeah, we had them winning the division. I didn't have them going much further than that. And then, of course, I also thought that their record was going to be closer to like 10-6 than 15-1. But that's all right. More power to them. I'm glad they're doing so well. I don't hate them. This is one of the Super Bowls that I actually really don't hate either team. I hate some of the bullshit going around both teams, but because as annoyed I am about hearing about Cam Newton being black, I'm just as annoyed with the people you're talking about. They're like, oh, just give it to him. No, don't fucking give it to him. Go out there and play the damn game. That's what I'm paying to see.
I'm looking up the year of that Super Bowl.
I'm quite surprised that
Actually, 2004.
was it 4?
It was 2004 because that was a close game. Wow.
That was a really close game.
Yeah, that was closer than I thought it was.
Nice.
I think Jake Delhomme was the quarterback then.
Delhomme.
So
yes, I would have pulled for them. I'd pulled for them wholeheartedly. I think I even said that if they could run the gauntlet, they would be, all right, the men, so to speak, in my book.
Yeah, sorry. I have a swollen finger. I have a torn ligament or something. It hurts, but it's not like broken. Like I move it, but it's swollen. I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about football wise? So both have our predictions. God, I hope the first quarter score is like, I think it's 4. I think my numbers are 4-0.
What are my numbers?
I'm talking about for Schweitzer's.
Oh.
Did you do Schweitzer's?
No, I did not do Schweitzer's. That's too heady for my blood. He's doing 2 boards at $20 a piece.
Let me get it real quick. Plank. Yep. I need the Broncos to have 0 and the Panthers have 4. So if it's 14-0 the first quarter, I'll be great. And then what I need is
the game to stay that way.
14-10 and then 24-10 and then 24-20. That's what I need all the quarters to be. How great would that be,
24-20.
That's $1,000, I think, is what that is.
You know what would be even funnier?
What?
If the final score of the game was 24-30. And you still got your payout, and the Broncos won.
I told you, it wouldn't break my heart at all to see the Broncos. Like I said, I don't have a horse in this race. If it was Chiefs, I'd probably be thinking a little differently. If it was Patriots, so I want Tom Brady to get one more.
No, I don't.
I know you don't.
Definitely be cheering for Cam Newton.
Because then next year I could be really cheering and rubbing it in Steelers' face like, oh, he's gonna get one more. He's gonna tie you guys. You're always like, oh, we got 6. No one else has 6. And the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys are no way.
You're saying that to me as if I'm one of those fuckers.
I'm saying it to you because I'm talking to you, and I'm not saying it to you because you're one of those people. I'm saying it to you because we're talking.
I don't cheer like that. The Steelers lost because they didn't have a good enough fucking team this year. Tough shit. Life's a bitch. Injuries suck. That's the Steelers season right there.
Okay. Anything else with football? You want to talk about any
Bye Johnny football. Going to Canada. You're gonna learn to eat maple syrup and play Canadian style football.
You see the hockey 3-on-3?
You know what? I was so surprised that they decided to run the NHL All-Star game the same day as the Pro Bowl.
To be fair to the NHL All-Star game, they had a 25% increase in viewership this year than they did last year.
I didn't even glance at it.
Dude, what do you think should be done with the Super Bowl?
Oh my god!
Should you even have a game or just have like a ceremony where like, hey, you're a Pro Bowl? Here you go.
Me and Schweitzer discussed this at
nauseam.
Ad nauseam, yes, on Sunday, and we went back and forth trying to come up with 20 different ways to make it at least somewhat interesting. And everything we thought of didn't it just didn't pan out properly. Like, okay, say the NFC wins this year. Okay, so the NFC gets home field advantage next year in the Super Bowl. But it doesn't matter because it's one game and it's always neutral territory. So fuck that. All right, that's off the board. We're like, okay.
Well, maybe it's in an NFC city. At least in an NFC city.
So, but they know where the Super Bowl is going to be like years in advance. That's not even like a thing. Then it's like, okay, well, here's the thing. What if, say, the AFC wins the Pro Bowl and then everyone in the AFC gets an extra $5 million in salary cap space? Like money that's not there, that's there. You know what I mean? Like you're not giving them $5 million, but you're saying, oh, okay, you get a bump. Well, fuck. Then that puts the AFC in a dominant position over the NFC, which is something that should be rewarded. However, is it going to skew the charts too much that year? You know what I mean?
I don't think they should. I think they should do away with the game. Have a huge ceremony where these guys are honored for what they have accomplished in their season. Maybe have like a skills test, like a fun little skills thing, like the NBA does, where the quarterbacks got to hit like moving drones across the field or whatever, and they have like a time limit. We got to hit them all. and your accuracy matters, and then you have like a running back thing where they have to go through like an obstacle course with a football without losing the football.
They used to do that. They used to televise that shit all the time, to where
Yeah.
they go out in the sand and they would do all these
And
stupid
that
ass
would,
challenges.
yeah,
and then they had the
and then you
AFC
have like the
versus
lifting,
NFC
yeah, then you
volleyball
have
game,
like the
which was
lifting.
hilarious.
Then you have like the lineman can do like a lifting thing. Like they do some kind of lifting thing, like some kind of like power man, like the strongman competition, do stuff like that.
I always say fuck it, and because it's really hard to find something to put on the line, since the NFL is the only series that is one game, one and done. That's it. Other than MLS, it's one and done. You're out. There's no bullshit about it. MLB, NBA, NHL, everyone plays more than one game to decide who the boss is. So it goes back and forth between home and away stadiums. I get that. The NFL doesn't work that way. Okay, I'm cool with it. If they're not going to do anything to make them play harder, then fuck it. Make it flag football. Drop the fucking pads. Screw it. And just put them out there.
Well, then there'd be no point for having linemen out there then. That's really the point there.
Well, we did get out there and just... Really? The way the linemen were fucking even trying in the Pro Bowl? Did you even watch 5 minutes of that game? Because it was like, alright, fuck it, go get him. Fuck it, go get him. Like, they weren't even trying. Everyone wanted a piece of Richard Sherman's ass. That was for damn sure. Hold on. They wanted to plow that fucker into the ground. Which I thought was cute, just putting him in as a running back. Why not? Screw it. It's a Pro Bowl. As long as he get hurt that badly. But he did get tackled pretty hard.
I don't really see the point of having a game. If no one tries,
just make it flag football. Like,
they were talking about this. Jeff Saturday was talking about this on. I don't think it was First Take. I think it was something else. He's like, some guys just hate playing anything past the week 17. They hate playing it. Want to know why? Because let's say all the way up to week 17, you get paid $40,000 a week. After that, you only get like $9,000 because you're not in the season anymore. You can play in the playoffs and you don't get any extra money. You don't get an extra dime for playing in the playoffs. Maybe when you win a Super Bowl, you might get like a bonus from your own team or something, but you don't get extra money for playing in the playoffs.
Well, that's why
the only thing that gets extra money is your team gets extra net revenue for ticket sales.
Well, but the thing that we're starting to see now, and we've seen this in contracts over the last few years, and actually the beginning of it was really Ben Roethlisberger's first contract. When he came in the league, that it was laden with extras. Like, if you get us this far, you get X amount of dollars. You get us this far, you get X amount of dollars, on down the line. And that's where I think contracts are going to start going, because that difference has to be made up. Because the last thing you want is a guy that kicks ass 16 weeks out of the season, gets a bye week, and then comes in after that because you got a wild carded out, and like, nah, I'm not getting paid enough. Like, because you don't want that. That's the last thing you want.
It's the NFL system.
Well, I'm just saying.
I know, it's the way the NFL does it.
But you're seeing a lot of bonus-laden contracts now that if you get to this mark, you get to this mark.
If you made the game count for something, I'm sure that would be nice. But I don't know what you make it count for. Super Bowl's, like you said, the Super Bowl's predetermined.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, if they play the best of 3 series over 6 weeks, man, you're beating up a lot of guys for nothing more than bragging rights. And really, are you going to tune in for every other week over 6 weeks to see the same 2 teams battle it out?
I don't know why you make it 6 weeks. Why you make it just 3? You play 3 games in a row anyway. Throughout the course of the season, you always do that.
Well, if you want to do that, that's fine. I was just trying to give everyone a break to get the best possible game you could possibly see.
I don't know what it has to do with the game just have a ceremony. It's pointless. No one tries. They're all just basically like a lot of players decline doing it anyway. And because of when it's played out, you can't have your best players from the best teams on it anyway.
Yeah. Like
you couldn't have Cam Newton should have easily been a Pro Bowler. Not a Pro Bowler. He can't play in it because he's preparing for Super Bowl. You have Luke Kuechly, can't play in it. Yeah. Josh Morgan can't play in it. Von Miller can't play in it. Marius Thomas
can't play in it.
Manuel Sanders
can't play in it.
If Peyton Manning had a better season, Peyton Manning could be up there. But you're not. It's dumb because you're not getting the best product. The goal of it is to celebrate the best players in your game, right?
Well,
you're not getting that if you're not getting the best players in your game.
Well, I mean, even though they switched it up and gone to the fantasy style of
That's
drafting,
stupid. I'm sorry, that is flat out.
still fun to watch.
I'm sorry, that's stupid. I know it's fun, but in my opinion, it's just stupid. You have guys on your own team hitting you. They might just let you go by for a touchdown. I'm sorry. There's nothing going to do to make it competitive because you're not giving them incentive.
The only thing, the thing I've seen over years of watching the Pro Bowl is it's actually getting worse every
that's
year.
the thing.
Like, you saw guys literally, like, the play was 3 foot past them, so.
What is the only game that players actually try? All-star game that players actually try. MLB.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball.
Because there's bragging rights and home field advantage on the line for your league.
Yeah. Basketball, they try to an extent. They don't try like the last 3 minutes.
They put on a show. They at least put on a show.
They don't play, there's no defense. They put up points.
But they just put on a show. Yeah. At least they put on a show. NHL was a little more relevant this year.
What's funner about the NBA, though, is they have like a skills contest, a 3-point contest, a dunk contest. It's a show. It's a whole weekend full of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that with the NFL. That's my issue. You don't have those fun little things that people can watch. Like, I want to see the 3-point contest. I want to see who dunks the best.
Well, that's what I miss.
The celebrity game. The celebrity game is fun every year.
Well, that's what I miss is because the NFL, I remember growing up as a kid, I'd sit there and tune in during Pro Bowl weekend, because it was an entire weekend full of shit that they were doing in Hawaii. And they would have literally a 50-yard game that they played on the beach, flag football. It was hysterical to watch. Like, it was good stuff. And there were a couple
So
of
you're saying you want to see
skeleton
skeleton drill? You want to see the skeleton drill?
I don't know. I thought it was just that kind of stuff was entertaining me as a kid. But where is that now? Like, you could tune in all weekend. I didn't see jack shit but the fucking Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Don't make it about the Pro Bowl. Don't even do it. Well, I'm with you.
The point is to celebrate the best players in the league. I think it should wait till 2-3 weeks after Super Bowl. That's my personal opinion. Have it somewhere between Super Bowl and the draft. That's what they should do, is have it as a midway point between Super Bowl and the draft, where they have the best players, because the Super Bowl guys have done celebrating.
You're still not going to get the best play out of the players.
No, I mean just do the skills part. Don't even have the game.
Okay.
Have the best quarterbacks there. Have them do like some kind of passing competition.
Skills challenge, yeah.
And like, I don't know, do something where like you sell tickets. I don't know. Grab me one.
I'll grab you 2 of yours, you fucktard.
Thank you. Oh, I'm not done yet. Never mind. I was done.
I didn't think you were even close.
I'm not almost there.
So
anything else on football?
That doesn't matter. Point is, I will use the word nigger a lot on here. I know I'm terrible about it. It's not because I'm racist. Because how else do you say a word? African American, financially challenged, or financially
I just say black person,
privileged.
Black dude.
If the dude looks like he is nigger rich. And there's no other way to put that term.
Okay, that is a phrase is one thing. It's just calling someone the N-word is another.
No.
You like saying
you
about
that. You will hear me use the word nigger rich quite frequently, or the phrase, because I don't have any nicer way to say it, and if you come with a nicer way to say it, it just doesn't carry the same connotation. That being said,
if you say, I don't like saying the word, but if you say it, people know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
It's like me saying a midget.
Someone who got no money.
It's like me saying the word midget. If I say a little person, you don't know who I'm talking about. If I say a dwarf, a midget is an instant clarification on what I am talking about.
You say dwarf, you got Lord of the Rings fans going,
what? Dwarves? There's dwarves?
Oh, they're dwarves?
There's little small midgets walking around with axes. You know?
Hammers? What? So, are they going to mine coal?
And it's not, and we talked about that earlier. Remember when we were talking about, like, when I said, like, oh, Richard Simmons, yeah, he's the gay workout guy from the 80s. He's like, why did you classify him as gay? I'm like, because that's the easiest classifier of who he is.
I was on a thing then. I'm off it now.
What?
No, I don't know. I hit these certain high points where I'm like, we shouldn't say that. Now I'm just like, you know what? Richard Simmons is gay.
He is, but
he's gay.
Nothing wrong with being gay. Just he is.
No, but he is very gay.
He's.
You get
super
close.
Gay.
You get close. You get close to being a fag after a certain point. Like, you can be gay and that's fine, but after you hit a certain level of gayness, you're just a fag because you're annoying.
I still don't like saying it. I don't like saying faggot.
It doesn't bother me a little bit.
It doesn't bother. I don't like saying it. It's like I had to start saying four-legged retards instead of you ever listen to Louis C.K.?
Four-legged retards.
Yeah. Deer. Because he's like I hate deer. They're the stupidest goddamn animals in the world. The only animal I know that will watch their brother get hit by a goddamn truck on the big black thing that goes around everywhere, and they'll still wander on the big black thing. It's like, and he calls them nigger cunt bag of deer. That's what he calls them. And I was like, I have to start calling them four-legged retards. That's what TJ calls them. I'm like, why? I'm like, because I can't call them the other thing. And I told him, I was like, what are you talking about? He's like Louis C.K. So then I had to bring it up, and he's like, that's pretty funny. Yeah, you probably shouldn't call him that.
It's only
like every bad word he just calls deer.
It is deer. Only racist if you look someone directly in the eyes with malice and speak it. That's just.
I can't tell you how someone. I disagree with that because to us it doesn't mean anything to us. You don't know what it means to someone else.
Yes, but I would look at any one of my gay friends if they got out of line and be like, okay, tone the fag down. You're getting a little faggy.
I was talking about the other word, but
well, I have been known to do that before too. I think the quote of the night after
we're not in a situation where we get to say a word and then get to dictate how someone else feels about it. I mean, I'm not all about PC in general.
Apparently, I am because people think I'm hilarious.
I'm just saying that's not the world that's what the people expect. People who are.
I'll put it this way: the people that I've surrounded myself with, that I guess I would have to consider or call black friends, so that the media knew what the hell I was talking about, all are well aware of the fact that shit's funny to me, and if I say it, it's funny, and if I say it to you, don't even take it as an insult. Because if you take it as an insult, you're not going to be.
I'm just saying in general, we're in a point in our society where people say things without, not saying you, but people say things without thinking they have any responsibility over what they say. And that if it's something as egregious as probably one of the worst words in English language ever came up with, as in Nigger.
No, that's just a Spanish slang term for the color black.
I understand that, but
I'm just saying.
But was it used as a Spanish slang term for black, or was it used as a derogatory statement to downgrade someone's humanity?
Well, they were brought over here by the Spanish for the most part, and that was what they referred to them as.
We are agreeing there. We're agreeing there, but was it always used as that, or was it used after that, after slavery, as a derogatory term?
Things are interpreted as derogatory by the people that feel they are derogatory, and usually the people that feel like they're derogatory are the ones that the quote is being derived at. They learned that it's like this. It just with the Irish, whether you're lace curtain or shanty, you're called shanty Irish, you might as well have been called fucktard. It was an insult. You never want to be referred to as shanty, but then again, you didn't want the shanty to refer to you as lace curtain because you ain't no better than anybody else. You know what I mean? It's just who's saying it and how are they directing it at you. I've gotten away with saying the quote unquote N word a million freaking times, over and over and over and over again, not just on here, but to my friends that are quote unquote black. And it doesn't matter because. Not because I have a ghetto pass, but I don't play the race card. I don't care what color you are.
Well, racism is a two-way street, so.
Well, you're in my group, you're fine. Quote of the night from my 20-year reunion after I drank God knows how many whiskeys, how many beers, and smoked 6 hits of Paralyzer that my boy PT had. Holy shit, was it amazing. Got out of the PT Cruiser, which was funny that he had a PT Cruiser and his name was PT. That's subsequent. Leaning up against the back of it, he comes up, he goes, come on, boy, we gotta walk back inside. I was like, nigga, you call me Kunakine because my black ass doesn't grow roots. I could not move my legs. That shit was so powerful. What everybody do? Just laugh, because shit, it's only personal if you take it personally. Why is everything gotta be an insult?
I'm not saying it's an insult, I'm just saying.
If you're offended by it, 9 times out of 10, you is what you were just called out to be.
Nah, I'm not one. You know me. I'm not one of the person that thinks that if someone's insulted by something, you should stop saying it. But it's a term that is not. It's much more has much more backdrop meaning to it than just saying, oh, like like something as simple as like, oh, you're drinking too much or you're drunk or whatever. I'm offended by that statement. Or I don't like the American flag or people saying that. Or that's like that flag offends me. Take it down. That is stupid. But something that's as backdropped as what black people, not now, but have gone through and their ancestors gone through, just it in my humble opinion, just kind of slaps them in the face on what their ancestors gone through, and using the word, I think takes us back steps. In my personal opinion, it takes us back steps from where we've been, and we've progressed a long way since even the 50s. And
oh yeah, we're a lot farther.
We're long. Well, I think my point on that is I think it's the advent of social media. The other bit of social media. Like what was the one? There was a movie about it recently, about the not the riots, but the protests in Alabama, one of the Alabamas. I don't remember what it was called, but it was nationally televised. All these black people just protesting peacefully, and sick dogs on them. They had fire hosed them. I don't remember what the movie's called.
I know what you're talking about.
It's like a.
It's not out.
It's with an L.
It wasn't Alabama. It was Georgia. It was about Dr. King, wasn't it?
I thought it was Alabama or Mississippi. It might have been Mississippi. But anyway, that globalized what was really going on, and all these people, white, Hispanic, everyone saw this and like, this isn't right. If you're treating people like this in the South, it needs to change, and that's what pushed civil rights forward. That's what really put it in the forefront, and that's when the Civil Rights Bill was passed. After all this stuff, like even like the boycotting of the buses, all these things, peaceful protests.
I get that.
But moving forward, you think we get past those old school racial things that people did and people said, that we get past all that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that that white people are the only culprits. Black people need to get past it too.
Well, that's exactly it.
But I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say if they say that gives me the right to say. I'm not one of those. I'm not one. Maybe you. That's not me.
That's me. That's me. If you're gonna make a joke and talk about all the crackers, then
no, I mean like referring to themselves as.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's the thing. A word doesn't die from being overused. A word dies from never being used again. So if you want to look at the white race and say, okay, kids, you can't say nigger because it offends me. Don't turn around and look at your boy and say, did you hear hey nigga, you hear what I just told that cracker? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't make it go away. You want it to stop? You have to stop yourselves.
See, the word cracker doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't. I've had.
But again, even if it did bother me, I'm one of those people I don't give a shit.
Well, I've had a ton of friends tell me white jokes, and I have yet to find one of them hysterical or jaw-droppingly funny. I don't get it. And maybe I am racist because I think there's a lot of funny Hispanic jokes. I think there's a lot of funny, quote-unquote, African-American jokes. Like, there's stuff out there about those people that is kind of, what's that word? I can't think.
Say it again. Say it again.
I didn't say the word. That's the problem.
Say the phrase again.
I feel like not profiling.
Not profiling.
Typecasting.
Typecasting.
It's similar stereotyping. Yeah, stereotyping. There it is. There's a lot of stereotypes out there that are hilarious. You did it 2 weeks ago. You go into KFC, get your fried chicken and your grape drink. That's funny.
I just got the fried chicken. I didn't get the fried chicken that day.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? That's just funny because you see it happen. But you go to a white boy picnic and there's some dumbass sitting there flipping burgers who has no idea what the hell he's doing, wearing a apron that says "World's Greatest Chef," drinking a fucking PBR. That's kind of funny. That's a stereotype. That's what those guys do. You find a redneck, he's gonna have a big truck whose exhaust is way bigger than his dick will ever be. Like he can fit his head inside it, and you don't know why. Like, those kind of things are hilarious about giving people. I just have yet to hear a funny white joke. I wish someone send me a funny white joke. put a funny white joke on here and like tag us in the comments so we can go find it. I want to hear a funny white joke. I really, really do.
Okay.
Like other than a black guy telling me that one funny white joke about white boy picking a cotton, but it was okay. But I mean, I was drunk at the time, so he thought it was far more hysterical than I did. But it wasn't that I was offended by it. I just didn't find it that funny. Well, I guess I'm a racist drunk.
I wouldn't consider you racist. You just say racial things.
It is what it is.
All right.
Football. Johnny Manziel's going to hell. Deal with that.
No, he's not.
He's going to
Canada.
Canada.
So blown out of proportion. It's 'cause he has some drinks and does something. I'm tired of hearing about him.
Well, that's 2 domestic issues with his wife in like 6 months.
He's
Or his girlfriend
wife
in 6 months.
She never claimed she was hit. She just said that there's been like where he like got mad and left, and she's worried about his life, fears for his life and stuff. I don't know until he actually. I don't know if he hits her, then that's a completely different situation. But God, if he's just drinking, who the fuck cares? My God. You heard Jim Brown said, or was it Jim Brown? Yeah, Jim Brown.
Jim Brown, like former coach Jim Brown.
No, well, my main coach, former running back for the Browns.
Jim Brown. Okay, yeah, that Jim Brown. Never mind.
He's like, I think the way they're handling Johnny Manziel is horrible. You can't bring young kids into this league and expect them to act a certain way and not be a little bit mindful of that they are people and everyone comes from different backgrounds, so you got to handle people differently. And he's like, I think that if you actually sat down with Johnny and you worked with Johnny, he could be a very good player. Because early in the season, all of his teammates are like, he's working hard, he's in the gym, he's very ingratiating himself with the team, he knows the playbook really well. He was there, and he actually, when he played, he did pretty well.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's kind of the reverse of.
It's the second season, and they're just like, you know what? We're not dealing with the bullshit, and that's.
It wouldn't be bullshit if it wasn't blasted all over the news.
Well, but
that's the issue.
He wanted to be the number one guy. He wanted to be the name, so he blasted himself on social media.
Who cares?
And then
Don't follow him on social media.
Well, yeah, that's easy enough to do, unless you're his employer.
Don't follow him. That's my point.
You're his employer.
I would tell him if I was the owner, I'm like, Johnny, you have a choice. You can turn off during the season. You are to deactivate your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook. When you're in the off season, I don't care what you do. But when you are in the regular season, you are to deactivate those things. And you are to tell your friends. Do not be putting your pictures on Instagram. You need to do this. If you want to be in this league and you want to be on this team, this is what you need to do. We don't care if you go party. We don't care if you have a good time. As long as you show up and do your job. Michael Irvin did that. Michael Irvin had off the field issues like that. That was never an issue. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Gronk.
Yeah, Gronk
spends the entire offseason drinking.
Well, yeah, let's not be naive. He also works on his craft. He works on his craft. He works on being a better receiver.
Tight end.
What? Yeah.
I don't know. Fuck Johnny. He can deal with some bullshit.
All right, we're gonna move on here. You want to go to Flash, Arrow?
You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. The only thing I can comment on is Arrow.
We'll talk about Arrow then. Going to Arrow. Ready?